I've worked with hundreds of SaaS founders in marketing, and I keep seeing the same problem over and over again. You've got a great product, but your website kills literally all the leads before they even go to a sales call. So here is what I'm doing here. I'm roasting websites, showing what needs to change if you want your site to bring you more qualified leads. It would be completely unfiltered, so I'm going to be your cold traffic, just with a bit of design knowledge. And I'm going to be looking at those websites for the first time and telling you what's missing there. And for this video, I've chosen 3 websites that from the glance, they might look good, because I did it intentionally, because if I just take websites that look like a complete shit, that would not be that informative, because we all can tell that they look bad. So I intentionally took a websites that sort of look okay, but that's the exact problem, because usually when the websites look okay, that's where the hidden money are. And if you want your website to be constructively roasted, there is a link to apply in the description below. I'll just need the website and the email. That is it. All right, too much waffle. Let's get started. So the first website on the list is Price FF. So again, as I mentioned before, I have no idea what they even do. So I'll need to kind of figure out as the people gonna be figuring this out when they learn on a website for the first time. All right, so we've got AI price automation you can trust. Make the most of your limited capacity with AI dynamic pricing based on real-time demand. Okay, let me just scroll through. Okay. Right. Okay, so in my understanding from just trying to scroll through, what these guys do is they have an AI that somehow, again, I don't know how for now, integrates into the company's listings, whatever those are, and it adjusts pricing based on the demand. So for example, if there is a huge demand, the pricing would probably increase, and if there is a low demand, the pricing would decrease automatically. So I guess that removes all the manual work that people need to do. So I guess that's in a nutshell what their product does. Okay, that's a bit of context. First thing that I'm seeing here right away, and it's not going to be related to copy because usually copy is the first thing I look at, but for now, let's stop at the visual. So I did this like fast scroll, as you can see, and just by looking at it, I can tell that this website is not memorable whatsoever. So they don't have any visual system whatsoever. Yes, okay, you can argue that they've got the white color, the yellow color, and that's pretty much fucking it. So that's the first problem with this website, is that there's no distinguishable visual system. And that's going to be the huge problem, because besides having a great copy, there's also a visual system which plays a huge role in people kind of trying to remember you. And if people can't remember you, that's going to be a huge problem. So definitely the thing that is missing here is some sort of visual differentiation, whether it's being some visual system, visual elements. In simple terms, there is no mood here. It's just the website that has the white color and has a bit of yellow color. That is it. That's the only thing that I remember. So technically, I can take the white color, I can take the yellow, I can replace it with some other brand which isn't even related to pricing. It could be, I don't know, AI that does banking, and it's still going to work, right? So there is nothing that they own, and that's the huge problem. Again, I don't have, of course, the answer what they could own, but it needs to have some visual system in terms of maybe the pattern, maybe some metaphor, but something that would make them them. Or maybe the combination of the colors, maybe the interesting layouts, but something that would make them them. For now, I'm just looking at the template. So that's the first problem. Now, if we actually read the copy, it says AI price automation you can trust. So first of all, I mean, it says technically that it's price automation, but I don't get the direct answer what you do. You automate price. How? What? That's the problem. So again, the better approach, again, just on top of my head, could be something like we help you automate pricing based on the demand, for example. That could be a better description rather than something abstract, especially with the last one, you can trust. I mean, everybody who goes and uses any product, they expect that they could trust it, so that's just bullshit. Then in terms of the description, make the most of your limited capacity with AI dynamic pricing based on real-time demand. It's alright, but again, I would always prompt to go with something that is more descriptive. So I'd always say to any of my clients that keep in mind that people who are visiting your page, they got no idea what you do. I mean, sometimes they do, but we always need to kind of expect that the person does not know what they're doing. So that is why Always think that people have no idea what you do, and always think that the person who's visiting your website is probably like 10 years old. So that it needs to be dead simple, dead direct, and use super easy language. Now, the button here is good. Okay, book a meeting, that's a perfect CTA. So I'm not gonna go here. I hope that it works well, but in terms of the CTA, it's fine. Now, in terms of the visual, complete shit, I'll be honest. Like, it's complete shit. It's just a bunch of graphs, which, again, of course, I probably understand where it comes from. You talk about pricing, hence you wanna show changes in pricing, volatility, whatever. But again, as a call user, I've got no fucking clue what you want to show here. So what I'd rather see here is either nothing, that's going to be even more informative than this one, just abstract pattern, or if you want to actually give the value to people, what you might be using here is showing the animation of actually how the price adjusts. So for example, as I mentioned in the beginning, you've got the price change when there is a demand going up, and the opposite. So what you could show is showing the price when, for example, let's say there is a huge demand, you automatically increase the price and you show it. And then the opposite, when there is no demand, you decrease the price. So that way, not only people would understand it with the copy, but also the graph would support that, and easy peasy, you've got two things connected, and then people understand what you do. For now, they don't. So let's get scrolling. Alright, that's some sort of case studies, I guess. Yeah, some sort of case studies. For the case studies, they're okay, but again, I wouldn't use them and take so much space. That takes a lot of space, and you definitely don't want to take. So I'm viewing it from the laptop, and it almost takes twice of my screen just to see those case studies. I think they're nice, but what I would just do is try to put them more organized so they don't take up too much space, because any space is necessary. So that's why I would do that. In terms of keeping them in general, I think they're fine. They show different industries, fan rentals, motorhome, no idea what that means, food. So I think those are great. And then, but again, probably I wouldn't keep them here in the beginning. I'd put them a bit more down, and I would actually firstly talk a little bit about the product. Then we say, okay, actually, like reading that, this copy here is better than here. And I think when I was trying to say it needs to be more descriptive, I think I meant something like that, because in here, what we say is Pricef is a super effective tool for adjusting prices automatically based on real-time demand and available capacity. Perfect. So it says exactly what people need to know: automatic pricing adjusting. And that's why these should actually be on top of here and not be hidden in this page, because there's a huge chance that people might not even get here. That's why this is great, nothing to be changed, but again, I'd probably push it there and keep this even without the copy and go directly to those points here, which are, the classic feature points about certain elements. I think they're great. No problems with that. Again, it ties back to overall visual system, so I'd probably visualize them a bit more because they're quite small and I can barely read that. I need to really zoom in like that, which I definitely don't want to do. So yeah, that would be another thing that I'd probably change here in terms of the visual style. But again, I already talked about the visual style, so now we are looking at the structure. So I think those points are great. Those are points that are great to have. And then we have just a random quote here, which I just remove. I think having those 4 case studies is more than enough. Just having one random text quote that probably could have been edited with the ChatGPT doesn't do the justice, so I just remove that. And then we hit the bottom. Okay, so now about a couple of the things that I see that I'm missing that are very beneficial to have. First thing, what I would do on this page is to add some sort of benefits, because at this point, not everybody would be thinking that having this automated AI pricing change would be necessary. So what could happen after the hero section is having some sort of benefits that people would understand what it would bring them. For now, we assume that people already have the huge problem and some people might not. So that's why having basic text with the cards that explains, hey, here is the benefit 1, 2, 3, 4, could already do the justice for you. So that's the first thing that could be added here. Then another thing that could be probably in the middle of the page is actually see how it integrates. Just, 3-step integration so people understand how easy it is to integrate it. That's also something that could be super duper beneficial to have. And then the last thing, and I think I need to move to the next website because it already took quite, 10 minutes almost. Yeah. The last one would be adding the CTA here. At the bottom of the page, we don't have the call to action, so that's something that could be very of a benefit here. Oh, actually, I was about to wrap it up and go to the next one. Very important thing, and a lot of actually companies kind of neglect that, is in this footer here, there's no navigation that we've got on the top, or any legalities, or like in general, there's no navigation here. And that's the problem because, and I've been reading actually this article quite recently, about 40% of people actually go to the footer and then locate something from there. So not having the navigation means that this 40% of people would not be able to go where they wanted to go. Even though I know we've got this sticky header, having the navigation in the footer not only helps with SEO, but also it helps people to navigate better through the page. And I think, I'll briefly mention what I mean with the SEO. SEO is pretty much how you rank on Google by random people. So having the proper footer in place helps you to rank better. That's kind of in a nutshell. Alright, so I think, that's it for the first website. Let's move to the second. Alright, the second one called Superwider. Let's have a look. Performance-based influencer marketing platform. Okay, that at least tells me something. I don't need to scroll further to figure it out. Brands get free influencer search and automated campaigns. Influencers get discovered and apply for collaborations. There is a search, logos. Okay, I think I don't need to scroll further. Okay. First of all, there is something weird with the header. So Superwider, if you're watching, just fix that. There's something wrong with the header, clearly. Probably with the breakpoints, as you can see here, that shouldn't be happening. Then one thing that I'm seeing here, and I have a huge question about, is I'm a bit confused as to what's kind of the goal of what we want people to take. Because we technically got the sign up free, but at the same time, we've got the book a demo. So what do I need to choose? I mean, I know that sometimes you need to have it when it's more like SaaS based, product based, when the sales cycle is longer and you still have the sign up, but you still have an option to book a demo. But in this case, is this book a demo more important for brands or is this book a demo more important for creators? I've got no fucking idea. And that's the huge problem because you might get the book a demos from people who aren't really people who need to be booked. That's why there's a bit of a disconnect here because from my understanding, it's like a marketplace where the brands could find the influencers and influencers could find good deals with brands. So it's pretty much like a marketplace where there's too much together. It's like, for example, the marketplace where you get the designers and then you get the clients who go to those designers to get the service. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what those people are doing. And for now, there is a disconnect with that. In terms of the headline and sub-headline here, I think they're fine. Maybe there's still a bit of a disconnect, not disconnect, but maybe it could be phrased a bit differently here because as of now, we just kind of list out the bullets. But what I like about it is that it is direct, so it is nice, and I've been able to understand it quite fast, so this is perfect. In terms of the visual system as well, I like it. There's already something to it. Maybe the pattern is a bit overused, but again, there is something to it, so I'd probably remember this website more than I would remember the price FF. So yeah, that's a good site. Now let's have a look at this one. This is cool. This is cool with me. Of course, probably they would want the brands who visit the page to be able to already preview the influencers here. So I think it's nice. There's also this helpful elements here. No problems with that. Then supporting starts, 100 plus collaboration, 50 attendees, 7 successful campaigns. I just grabbed the 7 successful campaigns. I think it doesn't do justice. It's not a big number. 7 is very small for having a successful campaigns. So I would probably just give 50 and 100 plus and keep the logos and that's it. Yeah, so that's that. All right, we've got some video. Yeah, I'll scrap the video. There's already so much information here and I'd rather just have it centered and have a focal point on this one. And this video, again, it feels quite random. Like if you had to have the video, what I would prompt here is to actually maybe show the influencers, like show reel of different influencers so people get hooked. For now, I see a lot of text-based show reel, and it's not really doing justice considering how much text we've got here. So I would either change the video to something more, not real, but more visual, or I'd scrap the video completely because that only hurts in my opinion and does not help because there's a lot of text. Moving on, we've got connecting influencers and brands to successful collaborations, increase efficiency. That is good. That is good because in general, for now, the way I see this page is now sort of like a gate for people to have a general info, and then we need to segment them out. And so I'm not sure if those guys do that. So for now, they're giving the general info, which is great. They show both info that could be helpful for the brands, and they also have quite good info that's beneficial for the influencers, which is nice. Now let's see what they do next. Performance-based. A lot of text. People are not going to read that, especially that in that width. You always want to aim for something like that in terms of the width, and anything that is more than that is very hard to read. The same with the headline as well. Okay, so that's where I see the first problem that I talked about. So in general, for the brands that are marketplaces in general like that, what I would suggest is to always, in here, for example, we have two segments. We have brands and we have creators. So that's the two targets that we want to target, whatever. The problem here is that I'm not sure who are we talking to here from this point. It kind of we are trying to talk to both. And what I would do here is I would probably try to literally segment those. So I would have some headline that talks, even, do you know what? I'm not going to have a headline. I would just have two cards next to each other where it would say for brands and for creators, and with a little text that describes what is it for brands and what is it for creators. And then we're going to direct those people to those subpages, because that's been enough. We talked about what we do. Then we talked a bit more about how it works, right? And then what we need to show here is probably something like segmentation, so people can now, based on this little information, decide who they are and then go to the subpages without having that. And also we have two CTAs, start campaign and explore solutions. Again, these CTAs feel quite random because they conflict a lot with those. Then we have featured influencers. I think it's fine to have that featured influencers. I think it's nice. Then we have another bunch of text. Yeah, no. Scrub this text. Too many buttons. Like we count 1, 2, 3, 4. What the fuck? Start campaign. That's the first CTA. Explore solutions. That's the second one. Create profile. That's the fourth one. Explore features. That's the fourth one. The fuck? That's too much. No. Scrub this section. Add the segmentation between those so people know where they're going. If that's not enough, you show the featured influencers just so that they can list and see more. Then you have featured brands, also a nice thing to have. You can literally list them next to each other with a separation, and that's it. And then you can have your CTA here. Yeah, that's going to be way better than doing what you're doing here. And you have the FAQ, that's fine, I think. And that's it. All right. Not bad. I mean, technically, compared to the previous page, this page is doing it quite well. There's like very minor things that they need to change. I think one additional thing that I've noticed here is I see that they have different categories. So thinking from a perspective of a brand that wants to collaborate with influencers and vice versa, what could be helpful is knowing what industries do you cover. So what I would probably add as well is some block here dedicated to what industries you cover. It doesn't need to be really informative. It could be literally just, these kind of cards, but duplicated many times, maybe in the form of a slider like this, and you mention, let me see so I don't come up with it myself, culture, beauty, food, dance, DIY, fashion, sport, family, whatever. So that brands that come there on your website, they know whether or not you serve certain industry, and they'll be more prompted to be hooked. So that's another thing that could be added. And other than that, again, I would keep it very low-key. I'll just have hero, scrub the video, have this that you have, it's perfect. have industries that you serve, and then segmentation, and then featured influencers, featured brands, CTA, and then FAQ. I would even add FAQ before the CTA and then CTA. I think that's perfect. So that's the changes that I would do. In terms of the brand identity, I think it's all right. It's not bad. Of course, there's always something that you can make more expansive. Is that the word? Expansive, yeah. But that's all right. I'll do with that. Let's now move to the third one. Okay, the fastest way to easy accounts payable automation. Hi, I'm DoUp, your all-in-one AP automation solution, purpose built for Microsoft Dynamics 365. AP automation, how it works, to makes it easy to receive invoices. Okay. Okie dokie. Yeah, I think it's clear. First of all, I really like this dog here. I don't know what's the theme about this dog, but I really like it. I know that it doesn't really fit the niche. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm not sure. But I really like it. I would usually say that you shouldn't add something like that because it doesn't have any meaning really. But considering how probably boring this niche is, having this one makes it really cool. So we'll have a look how it works through the page. I've seen, they have the dog here, so let's see. In terms of visual style, don't have much to say. It's quite basic, but the fact that there is a dog here makes it feel a bit warm, so I'll pass. In terms of the copy here, the fastest way to easy accounts payable automation, it's alright, it's not that bad, it's kind of okay, but the subheadline might be a little bit hard to understand. I really like that you say, hi, I'm DoUp. I think it's fine. But in this one, again, I'm not sure, maybe I'm just dumb and I don't know what this AP automation is. Again, as I said in the first website that I reviewed, I'd go with something that is a bit more self-explanatory. And I think, again, I don't know, is it some common theme to be very vague here and then in the page explain it more deeply, but this one explains it perfectly. DoUp makes it easy to receive, merge, approve and analyze invoices, fully integrated with Micro. So you say what you do, how you integrate, and how easy it is. Perfect. So I'll just push this one to be here. But otherwise, I think it's okay. As this, maybe I'm just dumb and I don't understand what this AP means, but again, you always need to acquire for people that are dumb as myself. So keep that in mind. Then another thing is I'm missing the button here. I'm missing the action here. So the action is how it works. And okay, you'd argue that it leads you somewhere. It just leads me to the page. Please avoid having something like that because something logged. Give me a sec. Okay. Because people already know that they need to scroll. People aren't that stupid to not know that they need to scroll the website. I mean, we're at this point where we know that we need to scroll down. So don't show that. And let's see, I guess the call to action, what's the call to action here even? Book a meeting. Okay. So the call to action here is book a meeting. So instead of these, you need to have the button that is book a meeting. You might want to have, if you're really concerned that people are stupid and they would not scroll the page, what you could do here is just add these as a secondary button that people click and they go. But I even will stay away from that. What I would do is maybe have a secondary button, well, 3 options. First, not have any button except book a meeting. Second, if you're really tied to this button, have this one as a secondary with book a meeting. And third one would be having a book a meeting and secondary that leads you to some important page. That's how I'd go about it. Now, moving on, we have this good dog again. Really, really like it. Again, maybe it's just me, but I think it makes me trust them, which is good. Then we have the points here: receive an invoice, sell all invoices, process invoices. Perfect. No comments on that one. I think it's great. Again, actually, before I move, maybe I'd push this dog or reorganize the layout so it's visible, because for now, again, from the laptop, I see the head and it feels weird. So at least if I see the eyes, if I see it like these, that's going to be cute, isn't it? Like having that one like this, going to make it so hell of a cute. So yeah, I'll just change the layout a bit so we see the eyes. We have the logos, fine. How do up works. Again, I'd probably just remove this text if we push this text up. And then we have the slider with lots of Okay. Do you know what? It looks bad from the visual standpoint, but it's quite descriptive, I would say. Like, this is a situation where even though it looks quite bad in terms of the visuality standpoint, it looks really good in terms of the explanatory standpoint. Like, even though there's a bunch of screens, they really explain it with the arrows, and it helps. It really helps. So, in terms of that, props to them. Really, really good. But what I would change if we are wanting to improve the user experience, I would just separate, try a way, or like find a way to separate those points and literally just add them to a tab. I'd rather have 6 tabs instead of 3, but they would be more explanatory than having one and try to squeeze as much as possible because there's so much going on. And more to that, they're quite small and blurry. So having the tabs and having separate points separately allows you to actually zoom in to those points and for the people to actually be able to understand what those are. For now, it's a little bit hard. So I'll just make them into the tabs and keep 6 to 7 tabs there. Okay, yeah, that's good. Then wide do up, testimonials, call meet content CTA. That's perfect. You guys added the CTA here, but you did not add it to the hero section. That's very weird. Account payable automation. We talk about more points about. That's good. No points. We have the cute dog again. That's a good balance. Like we used it there, and then we showed here. Very good balance. Oh, okay. Now we say the do up. You have to best friends. My response. Oh, right. Okay, that's perfect. That's actually super perfect. They actually even explain the meaning why they've added the dog. All right, that's good. And actually, it brings your attention to this text. So at this point, you might not feel that weird and disgusted by the dog, even though you shouldn't be. But, you know, there are some weirdos out there. Okay. Useful materials, also good. And then the CTA. Oh, that is actually super nice. Look. Instead of just having the photo of a guy who'd probably jump on a call, you also have these. That kind of makes you trust them more, saying that that's the guy, he's an expert, that's your guy, 30 years of experience, you can trust him. That's perfect to reduce the fear of going to the call prior to that. That's great. And yeah, I think that's it. And wait, is that the common theme? Let me go to the previous website. Did they also? Okay. And again, please have the proper navigation on the footer because, again, keep in mind 40% of people go and use it. But yeah, so that's about this website. Actually, this one, like from the first glance of it, I thought that's going to be the worst website, but it actually turned out to be quite good. Like there are some points that, as I mentioned before, you could improve, but overall, this is an okay website. It could get some help, but in general, that is nice. Boom, and that's it. If you want to be in the next video, as I mentioned before, links in the description, drop your website, and I'll roast you. Peace.